Hey y'all, hope you're having a good day so far today. So it's beautiful today. The sun's out. It's a great temperature, and some of my earlier videos I filmed outside. I love being outdoors. I love to be outside, and I thought about doing it today, but a couple of things made me choose my Jeep office instead. First of all, I can film without having to actually hold a microphone, which is really nice. But secondly, and this is the part that's kind of crazy, and we talk a lot about how our minds work, and so I was thinking about all this and thinking I gotta share this. But it's like when I'm filming outside, like at a park, for example, and there's people walking by or jogging by, whatever. It's like I'm self-conscious. It's like I know that they're gonna see me sitting there filming, and it just kind of, I'm self-conscious. But it's like, on the other hand, it's like I know that this video is eventually going to be put on YouTube, this huge public platform, and I don't have a problem with that. So it's like sometimes things just, I don't know, they just don't make sense. But it's just funny, isn't it, to think about how our minds work? And so yeah. So today I want us to pull some inspiration from the symbolism of a duck. So come to find out, if you research this a little bit, which I haven't done a lot, but there's a lot of symbolism, okay, behind ducks. And I'm going to tell you where my inspiration initially came from. And it's from that saying to let things roll off your back, like just let it roll off your back, like a duck's back. Roll off, because ducks have the feathers that repel water, right? And so I love that mindset after you have come out of a toxic situation and you're aware now, you're fully aware of just how toxic people can be. And again, if you're new to my channel, when I say toxic, it's not only narcissism, but it's just any person with bad intentions, okay? Because I know that nobody's perfect, and I know that there's a difference between someone who's learning and growing and trying to become conscious, because yes, we can all have toxic unconscious behaviors. But again, there's a huge difference in someone who's consistently working to become conscious of those behaviors and to better themselves, to create a better life for themselves and for all those that they love. And then there's others who are they're knowingly deceitful, and they're knowingly exploitative. And so those are the people, when I refer to those with bad intentions, that's what I mean, like intentionally, knowingly, consciously looking to exploit, use, abuse, deceive other people, okay? And so a lot of times you can it feels like nowadays, like narcissism has become this umbrella term to encompass all the people like that. You know what I mean? Just liars, habitual liars who use people. And this is where you can spend all the time in the world, researching all these different conditions or disorders, and trying to figure out exactly where to place this behavior or that behavior. But my thing is why I mean, does it really matter? The biggest thing for me that I've realized is I don't have to become an expert on this stuff. And I know there's a lot of channels who are presenting information to the public, almost like trying to help the public become experts. And I understand there's a stage in our awareness, like early on, when we're maybe even still entangled in a bad situation. That kind of stuff may be helpful at that point, and I get that. Or like in the early stages of our healing, maybe then. But at some point, you want to get on with your life, and you want to continually grow and learn and be able to recognize, toxicity in the world, because you can't get away from it completely, unless you want to live like a hermit. And again, I don't recommend that, because I just feel like there's too many great experiences to be had out there, and too many, there's good people out there too. There's wonderful people. And it's easy to lose hope in thinking that, and this is where we talked recently about zooming in on the details versus zooming out and seeing the big picture. When you're in the middle of a bad situation, it's easy to think that everybody's toxic. And that's okay. I think that's kind of like a automatic safeguard that happens within our psyche in the early stages, just to intentionally pull you into seclusion, just so you can process things. And that's totally normal and just a natural stage of healing. But at some point, it's my hope that all those who have been used and abused and exploited, can realize there are good people in the world. And so this is kind of the mindset that I have personally, and that I try to present information from on my channel, offering all my viewers insights, maybe a different way to look at things, or just something of interest that you can take and run with and research if you have interest, so that you can have more puzzle pieces come together. And it's growth, and it's healing, and it is little by little, and that's okay. It's okay. And it's learning how to embrace the moment, and how to be grateful for every day. And it's just it's reclaiming your life and understanding the value of your life after being made to feel like you're worthless, being made to feel like you're nobody without this controlling person or whatever this toxic situation was. It's getting out of that negativity, back into the light, finding confidence in yourself again. And so I know that was a long spiel, and I know that if you are a regular to my channel, you're probably thinking, yeah, I know all this. So thank you for being patient, and it just came to me, and I wanted to say all that. So but today, yes, I was thinking about that saying, just let it roll off your back like a duck's back. Just don't let it bother you. And it's cool, because even Merriam-Webster, y'all know I like to look stuff up online. These online dictionaries will actually explain not just the meaning, the definition of a word, but also a saying. And so it explains that saying, like water off a duck's back, as meaning having no effect on someone. So that is the inspiration for this video, that we just, going forward, we let toxicity just not have any effect on us, and that we're going to view toxicity as it's going to just roll on past us like water off a duck's back, and that's it. And so I did get to looking into symbolism of ducks, and culturally all over the world, I think it's even considered like a totem animal and a spirit animal and all this stuff. So there's tons of symbolism with ducks, which is cool. So just a few examples of what they symbolize: happiness, new beginnings, balance, emotional comfort, simplicity, clarity, navigating our intentions and intuition. So all the things that we are stripped of when we are in the midst of psychological abuse or a bad toxic situation, right? So I thought that was really cool, because those are the things that we want to be in our life as part of a healthy lifestyle, right? So in using this as our inspiration today, I want us to be able to make sense of what this feels like. It's one thing to throw around a saying like that, you know what I'm saying, like water off a duck's back. That's one thing, but to really be able to make sense of it, that's something else. That's something different. And so that's what I want to do today, is break that down. Like, what does that mean? Especially for, people who have come out of a bad situation. Okay. The first thing I want to inspire you with is that I've got some examples of people who, this is just in my experiences in business, through my different jobs that I've had, and I've seen people who were very successful, and I've been very blessed to be able to witness how some of them handled stressful situations and toxic people and how they responded. And so I definitely think that we all have the capacity to intellectually understand how to live in peace and how to protect it. But it requires removing yourself from chaos first, right? That's essential, because nobody can think clearly when you're just in that fog, when you're in the middle of that chaos. So you got to first step away from that, even if it's just temporarily, here and there, until you can plan a safe exit. You've got to have that space to be able to think clearly. So we're going to do a deep dive and break this down, and let's start with those examples. So in this one job I had, there was a very large order that I had to call and check on, and it was delayed, and it was really important. So I make this phone call, and I'm talking to like the head honcho of this company, and I'm saying, it's we've put this order in, and this is really unusual, but we haven't received it. Do you know what's going on? And it wasn't a transportation issue, it was a manufacturing issue, and at that facility. But this person, she was like the CEO. I was so kind of shocked, but also impressed at the same time with how she responded, because she knew this was a big deal. She knew it was, possibly going to hurt other companies and businesses because of the issue they were having with their manufacturing. And she wasn't disrespectful, but yet she was able to deliver the message in a lighthearted and kind of humorous way to let me know that yes, there had been an issue, and that's just the way things go sometimes. And she was able to laugh in that moment. And I want you to realize, in business, that's rare. From my experience, it's rare. Normally, these kind of situations are very tense and uptight. They can get heated very quickly. Sometimes people lie and make excuses, and she did none of that. She was just very straightforward and honest, and it was really, even though, it was still kind of a, what are we going to do kind of situation, it still was very impressive to me. And so that stuck with me, and it didn't take long for me to realize that, there's a reason why I feel like a certain mindset can bring a person success in life, can bring a person through challenges with a good outcome. And so I think that's a great goal to have, you know what I mean? Because it is true that sometimes things are out of our hands, but some things are within our control too, and we have to know, what that difference is and where can we take control in a situation, and even if it's just with our mindset. And so the one thing I never want us to surrender again is our peace. Even in the middle of a sticky situation, a situation where somebody might get angry with us, like in business, like that phone call, for example, I still want us to be able to learn and grow and reach a point where we have been able to develop a capacity to use our intellect and understand how to handle that situation in the moment, so that we protect our peace. Because that's so important. If we don't have our peace, I mean, stress can harm us physically. And it can set other people off, and it can become like a back and forth kind of thing, and it can be dangerous. And so there's so many consequences when we surrender our peace. And so again, just going back to that metaphor of letting it, roll off, like water off a duck's back. That's what we want to see as our goal, right? That's what I want to see as my goal. So essentially, when we have spent so much time entangled with a toxic person or in a toxic environment or situation, it's kind of like we can be on the inside of that chaos looking out. And I'm saying this from firsthand experience, and we can see people who seem to be operating with just a sense of peace that they're secured in. They're just rooted in that peace, and it's almost like it just emanates from them. And it feels like, why can't I have that? It's like, it almost feels like they have dibs on it, but it's because you have been intentionally gaslit, and your mind has been messed with so much that you are living in chaos and you don't even know it. You've been fooled to normalize chaos when it's not normal. So that's why sometimes if you're in the middle of things, you can see these other people and just be so impressed and yet perplexed at the same time. You know what I mean? So nobody has dibs on peace. If you're viewing it that way, then that's a great indicator that you may need to evaluate your current situation and realize that possibly you have been normalizing things you shouldn't be, because peace is attainable, at least to some degree, by working our mindset. Okay, so here's some things that came to me that I'd like to share with you that hopefully will help us to secure a good and healthy mindset as we navigate this reality, understanding that there is toxicity out there. Okay, number one is to expect it. Because again, when you're walking around naive and you're thinking that everybody has good intentions, or at the core everybody has a good heart, well, I mean, there's even a Bible verse that talks about a human's heart. And so it says, who can understand it? It's essentially like evil at the core. And that's debatable too. And I just encourage you to find your truth around things like that, verses like that. I'm certainly not trying to assert, anything out there onto you as you need to take this as truth. I want to offer you stuff for you to look into and to be encouraged to get the wheels turning and maybe just do some research and find what's true for you. But my point is, when we're navigating life in this manner where we just are hoping for the best always in every person, and we hope that even in someone who's challenging or contrary or argumentative on the surface, when we're hoping we can get past that, at some point I think we have to draw the line. Okay, so just when you're going out, every day, you're leaving your place of peace, you're leaving your home, hopefully it's a place of peace, then just expect toxicity out there somewhere. Okay, and you don't have to do that with like a negative mindset. You can still, this was a truth I had to realize, you can still have a positive mindset and still expect to see it out there. Okay, just remember, where you end and another person begins. Okay, you don't have to let them into your energetic field. You may start feeling those vibes from a ways away, and you just make sure you keep your distance, and you just kind of shut down your emotional field, and you just put up this boundary. However, whatever tactics you want to use to make this happen within your mind, I know that you can figure that out. But for me, if I just leave home expecting it, now that I've been made aware, because I thought it was super rare for people to lie, you know what I mean? And then like when you find out it's not, it's like, oh. So you just, you have to, it's just a shift. It's a big paradigm shift. And so just head out and expect it. Expect toxicity somewhere out there, okay? Because it's when we're shocked that we may unintentionally respond with a trauma response, like being frozen. So I'm trying to prevent you from being shocked. You see what I'm saying? It's like shell shock. So, because when we do that or we react or whatever it is, even being frozen, then all those reactions, those trauma responses can even then be exploited by a person with bad intentions and use that against us. So, just expect it. That's almost like a safeguard right there in itself, okay? And also, I feel like if we are caught off guard by somebody, then we may also be operating with our guard down. That's like an indicator. You know what I mean? If you're guarded, then it's because you expect it out there. So if you're surprised by somebody, just let that be a cue to you. Oh yeah, I left the house and I wasn't guarded, because I didn't expect it. So they kind of go hand in hand. I encourage you to find the humor. Just like the business phone call that I shared with you, where she was able to find the humor and diffuse. You've probably heard the term to diffuse a situation that, could have been escalating to, some angry emotions or reactions or whatever. If you're able to apply humor, even for yourself, you can even diffuse your own emotions and bring that kind of down and level it out. So, and it's only when you're emotionally detached, like if you do have to grieve rock, like say with a family member, it's only when you've emotionally detached that, this is from my experience, that you can embrace humor. Because if you haven't emotionally detached, then you're just fooling yourself, trying to make yourself laugh, because you're still going to be feeling the pain from it. You know what I mean? And then another level of that is, I feel like you can only emotionally detach once you have truly accepted a person won't change. So that's like your baseline. You've got to truly accept a person won't change. Like I said, if you're gray rocking, okay? So if you still have some level of contact with a person, like a family member or coworker or whatever, then just don't allow that limited contact to sway you back or change your mind. You want to be strong in your assessment. And I highly recommend that you limit your time as much as possible with somebody who's proven to you that they're toxic. But we have to acknowledge that there's going to be space and time between the point when you first realize or when you first catch on to the fact that someone is a liar, a manipulator, someone with bad intentions. There's going to be a gap between when you first catch on and you realize it and when you accept it. When you accept it, it means you've been able to truly disconnect emotionally. Okay, you've drawn this boundary where you end and this person begins, and you don't have a need in any way to have any kind of friendship or relationship with this person at all. Okay, so just, if you need to spend some time, you'll know, because you'll be feeling it. If you need to spend some time here, then I would encourage you to do that, okay? And then after you're able to do that, or just if you're going out in the world and you're going to run into random toxic people, that's an easier situation. But again, number one is to expect it. Number two is to find the humor. So after you've done all that, then you can start to utilize humor, and it's great. It's great when you can do that, okay? Number three, expect others to see the narcissist in your life or the toxic person in your environment or whatever it is positively. Expect them to do that, and you got to accept that too. Not just expect it, but accept it. Remember, there's a difference, because a lot of times people who seek out someone to abuse, it's like a chosen person, okay? Like they've chosen this person to be like a scapegoat, to abuse, to psychologically abuse or emotionally abuse, and they're putting on this great mask to everybody else, so nobody else is going to see that side of them. So just go ahead and accept it, that other people are going to see this person in a positive light. Don't let that bother you, because that's going to create an inner resistance inside of you when you can't accept something like that. And then that's going to be a huge deterrent to your peace, right? And we want peace. So, and again, the more distance, the better. not only between the toxic person, the narcissist, but also those who are they're flying monkeys, whether consciously or unconsciously. Okay. Number 4, remember to operate from the abundance mindset and not the lack mindset. Okay. And a big sign, if you're doing this or not, is if you find yourself tolerating someone who's disregarding your boundaries. Okay. That means that, if you have gotten to a place where you truly feel whole and sure of yourself, and you have this inner confidence in yourself and in your own perceptions and in what you see as true, then you're not going to tolerate stuff like that. Someone who's disregarding your boundaries, you're just not. So if you're finding that you're doing a lot of tolerating, try to shift that mindset, from, I call it a lack mindset, okay, to an abundance mindset where you're like, I don't need that. I'm abundant. There's nothing I need from this situation. There's nothing beneficial from this situation. I don't need it. So just try to think of an abundance mindset, okay? As you continue, if you're at a situation where you're still not really sure of yourself, because when you leave this toxic, psychologically abusive situation, you're probably going to start out very unsure of yourself because you've been gaslit so much, like to oblivion, right? So just continue to educate yourself. I would encourage you to do that, and more and more as you do that, little by little, you will become sure of yourself through that process, okay? Because you're finding that validation to support what you're seeing with your own eyes and hearing with your own ears, hearing with your own ears. You're going to be able to validate yourself, okay, through that education. And there will come a time when you're ready to not be so isolated anymore, and you realize there are good people in the world. I just encourage you also to approach that from the abundance mindset, not the lack mindset, not thinking you're missing out or anything like that. I truly believe that your people will find you, okay? But only if you can be seen. I encourage you to find your own way to be seen. And your people will find you, okay? Please don't ever, I would encourage you to never accommodate someone toxic because you're lonely, or to stoop or to dumb down, however you want to put it, because you don't have faith in finding your own kind. Okay, so just something to think about. Number 5, respect the flow of human emotions and the experience of being human, okay? If tears well up, I just encourage you, don't fight it, don't judge it, just honor and feel what you need to feel and release it. It's part of the human experience. Emotions, they just are, but do it in your safe space, your place of peace, okay? And if you're having kind of a tough day or a tough week, or things just feel, like they're not going the best or how you'd prefer or whatever, then you can shift into the mindset of opportunity. I do this a lot, okay? And this is where, like, in the moment, you may not feel like life is abundant. If things might be going wrong or things are challenging, it's maybe tough to think of abundance in that moment, but you can think of opportunity and put your faith in abundance, in the future, even if it's just in the near future. You know what I mean? Just keep that concept of abundance, but just place it kind of out here a little bit and just focus on opportunity. Like, what can I do in this moment, especially that I can be proud of? Okay, I know this seems, not important, but I'm telling you, I've proven this to myself, that if you just can accomplish something, you're going to feel great about that. So opportunity, what can I do in this moment, in this situation? Okay. Whether it's challenging with another person, like on that business call, or whether you're just alone and things feel overwhelming at home and you got, dishes to wash and clothes to wash and fold and put up and whatever it is. I just encourage you to keep abundance in your mind. keep faith and abundance in your mind. Put it right out here in front of you, like, well, it doesn't feel that way today, but it will, next week. I don't know how. Remember, I mentioned recently, I feel like the how is God's part. But just if we just take the steps, all we have to do is put one foot in front of the other, little by little, then God makes it happen. So finally, just breathe. Just breathe. It's incredible to me how much literature there is out there on the benefits of just some deep breathing and the effects on the body and the mind, and how many different organizations utilize this, including the military. It's incredible. So I just encourage you to, stop and breathe, consciously take some moments throughout your day and do some deep breathing and get centered and grounded. And like I said, don't fight your emotions. Go ahead and feel them, but understand they'll pass. Always zoom out, see that big picture, okay? Don't ever let one moment overtake you and feel so big that if you feel like you just want it to wash you away. I understand how powerful emotions can be, but if we just hang in there, zoom out, see the bigger picture, and utilize situational awareness moment to moment, and choose a positive mindset, whether it be abundance or opportunity, you know what I mean? And abundance will come shortly after. Just make that conscious effort if you can. So that's my encouragement for you today. That's what I have to offer, and I just hope that this has been beneficial in some way, inspiring, and I just thank you all for coming along with me, and I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope that you choose to make a beautiful day, and find the opportunity and see the abundance, and I thank you again, and I will see you again very soon.